pushes. Oh, breakfast, he's had a fly. We'll leave that bit in. That was funny.
We have a blooper.
Yeah.
I just ran 100 metres down the beach for nothing because my driver went straight past the exit. So that's why I'm knackered. So, and I nearly got run over by a Prado. Alright, so the oil is pretty much up to temperature now. Is that camera on the piss or what? Sorry, a few technical problems with cameras there. Alright, so g'day guys, my name is Paul and welcome to another episode. Something a little bit different in this episode. We are north of Perth, up in the Sandy Cape campgrounds to be exact, camping amongst other campers, although it's not too bad at this end for now. Doing something a little bit different this weekend. My car will be a base camp, and Gary and I have a mate with us who's just bought himself a Ford Ranger and an Opus camper, and he hasn't done a lot of four-wheel driving, especially on a beach. He hasn't done much at all. So we're going to take him out over the weekend and get him horribly bogged. No, just kidding. That's just the bonus. No, we're going to take him out, give him a few tips, a few pointers, a few tricks of the trade, show him how to operate the four-wheel drive system, and basically teach him how to look after himself while he's four-wheel driving, and maybe look after the environment as well, because it's always good to teach responsible off-roading. So that is our goal for this video. So something a little bit different, kind of like a learner's video, and we will aim it at our Four-Wheeling for Beginners group. So you will find it there. If you want to join our Four-Wheeling for Beginners Facebook group, head over to Facebook, go search for Four-Wheeling for Beginners. Make sure you answer all the questions and agree to the rules, and we will let you in, and yeah, you get to hang out with a pretty cool group. So yeah, a couple of other things to do while I'm here. I've got some exciting new products from Slider Solutions to show you, and I've got an awesome, as usual, camp burger to cook up for you tomorrow night. So and while I've got you, if you want to help support us in our adventures, see the new merch. I don't know if you can see, it's probably not going to show at the back, but you've seen it before. Head over to our website, www.perth4before-adventures. Grab yourself one of these cool t-shirts, come in grey or black. Grab yourself a patch, some stickers. That will go a long way to helping me produce better content for you. So please head on over there, give us a little bit of support. Anyhow, it's time for that obligatory get the Slider Solutions fridge slide, tilt it down, reach in without any hassle at all, get myself a ginger beer. Still waiting on that Matzo sponsorship. Anybody? Give me a call. Alright. Cheers guys. Oh, been looking forward to that all afternoon. So yeah, won't do much more filming tonight. Weather in Perth has been raining today. Summer is over. Where are we? We are the 5th or 6th of March, somewhere around there. End of the first week in March anyway. So autumn has struck, and it's the first bit of rain we've had since, last weekend we had some rain. So but summer is officially over and is autumn. So yeah, I'm going to sit back and relax at camp tonight, enjoy a few of these, have a bit of a chat with a mate I haven't seen for quite some time, and we'll probably catch us in the morning. Alright, cheers guys. A little bit of chilly morning this morning, not used to this. So, summer's gone now. So never mind, I do love summer, but never mind. It's quite cool down here this morning, but still, the ocean's pretty calm. There's a little bit of a breeze coming in from the east, but yeah, look at the ocean. Nice and calm. Not a bad way to spend a Saturday morning, having a cuppa by the sea. So yeah, alright, so as I said last night, we're basically up here with Pete and his partner. Not done a lot of four-wheel driving before, got themselves a camper. He's got a brand new Ford Ranger on the way, so we're going to take him out in his car that he's about to trade in. It's never been off-road until now, and yeah, we're going to teach him a few of the basics, starting of course with the bit of beach driving and what you have to do, because they've seen some people camping on the beach in their travels and thought, yeah, they want to do that, but don't have the confidence to do it themselves because they've never done it before. And I can understand that. Geez, the first time I went off-road myself, I sort of looked at my mate when he said, let's let our tyres down. I'm like, what do we do that for? So, you know, I can relate to it. That was a fair while ago now, but yeah, so we're going to show him the basics, take him down the beach, see if we can get him stuck, show him how to get himself out, and most importantly, teach him not to get stuck in the first place, I suppose, because that's the ultimate goal. If a lot of people wait till they get stuck before they do the basics in four-wheel driving, but if you do that first, most of the time you don't get stuck. So yeah, alright, I'm going to head back to camp. Sun's just coming up over the dune behind me, and make myself some breakfast, and then we'll go for a drive, I reckon. Now, I won't be driving in my car on this trip. As I said, it's going to be a base camp. I'll be in with Gary doing the filming, and Gary will be teaching Pete the rights and the wrongs of four-wheel driving. So yeah, alright, going to finish my cuppa, take in the lovely scenery around here, and yeah, I might go back and get some breakfast. Alright, cheers guys.
Okay, good day guys, this is Pete. He is our newbie to four-wheel driving. I don't think he's been off-road much, so bottom line is... Never? Okay. Very new to four-wheel driving. Bottom line is we're just going to go through a couple of basics here. It's not going to be in depth. We just want to touch on the fact of a few things that you really should know, and it's all generic. Okay, so first cab off the rank, we're at Sandy Cape. And the majority of what we'll be doing today is on beach and on sand. So we're just going to step through that without getting overly technical. Very first thing, which a lot of people don't do, is tyre pressures. Tyre pressures are key, particularly in sand. The reason why we lower the tyre pressures is to give you more traction, elongate your footprint, without it, you're going to get stuck. So what we'll do is we'll start. Can you grab your tyre deflator? Yep. Okay, so there's multiple different types of tyre deflators. It really doesn't matter which one you get, but it is important, I think, that you have some sort of idea of what PSI you have in your vehicle. So you can let your tyres down with a stick. I've done it many times. In this case, Pete's got an ARB tyre deflator. So if I take that off you, right, absolutely. Bottom line is, I'm guessing that you're around about 40 PSI in this car, which is highway that's correct. Sort of pressures. What we'd be looking at doing, given the fact that I know that we'll be going on the beach, is we'll start at the generic 16 PSI. So we'll lower your tyre pressures down to 16 PSI. If that's not low enough, we can go lower, but I think that's probably going to be round about the mark with the vehicle that we're driving at the minute, the Ford Ranger. I think you're probably sitting at around about 2 tonne. As far as vehicle weight is concerned. All vehicles are different, which are, like I say, this is just generic. So we'll lower your tyre pressures down to 16 PSI, and I'll show you how these work.
Yep.
Right, plain and simple. Oh God, the caps are always at the bottom. Clearly we take the cap off, up there, right, pull that out so we don't lose the cap. Screw this on. All the way. Right, so that's on now. Slide this in and turn until you feel it grab. We undo the valve stem, right, and then we pull that back, which you can see here. You're actually sitting on 35 PSI. Right, we pull that back out.
That lets the air out.
Okay, so while we're going there, that's still sitting up high. When you push that back down, that will give you an accurate PSI measure, which you're down to about 28. So we're coming out again. Okay, we're down to as low as we need to be. Slide that back in and then start the turn, which screws your valve back in. Put it back in until it's tight. Slide that back out. And then take it off your valve. Grab your valve cap. Put that back on. And then rinse and repeat for all 4. Basically, we've let your tyres down. You can see they've bagged out a little bit at the side.
Yeah.
But the reason that we want to let your tyres down is not necessarily to have them bag out. It makes the footprint longer, right? So your footprint basically when it was pumped up was there. Now it's elongated to there.
Yep, makes sense.
So you get a better footprint. We do that around all 4 tyres. There you go.
Let's give it a crack.
Give it a crack. Okay, so push that valve in. Turn anti-clockwise as though you're unscrewing and you'll feel it click in.
Yeah.
Right, okay, now keep screwing and you'll screw that valve cap out. Keep a little bit of pressure on and you'll feel it unscrew.
Okay, yeah, with you.
And then it comes out.
Yeah.
Pop that out and down you go. Now while that's releasing air, as we've mentioned before, that's not going to be accurate.
No.
Right, so if you push that in, you'll see you're still at 28. So keep going. Okay, so the tyres are down to the approximate pressures that you need to be in. So now what we'll do is I'll quickly step you through some of the controls inside your vehicle. Make sure you understand how to put it in. High range 4-wheel drive, low range 4-wheel drive, and your traction control buttons, which are quite important on the sand. So if we open up the door here. Okay, jump in. So I'm not going to tell you how to drive your own car, that you know how to do. But there's a couple of buttons in here that are going to be really important for you. First cab off the rank, here is your selector. You're currently in 2-wheel drive high range, obviously, right? You've got 4H, which is 4-wheel drive high range, 4L, which is 4-wheel drive low range. Okay, so if we were to change that from 2-wheel drive into 4-wheel drive, in this vehicle you can actually do that on the fly. So while you're driving, as long as you're not driving, I think it's more than 80 kilometres an hour in these, but if you're just driving along at a normal speed, 20 kilometres an hour for argument's sake, you can quite simply get that button, select 4 high, lights will come up on your dashboard, you'll go into 4-wheel drive high range because you've got automatic locking hubs. That you cannot do from 4 high into 4 low.
Right.
To move it from 4 high into 4 low, you must put your vehicle into you must be stopped, put your vehicle into neutral, not into park, then select 4-wheel drive low.
Yep.
Right. Then push it into reverse or drive, whichever direction you want to go in.
Yep.
Now, when you're in 4-wheel drive high, all of your traction control and vehicle assists are still on and active.
Yep.
In the sand, you really do not want your traction control on because that will work against you. So in these buttons here, if we were going to drive in the sand, for argument's sake, four-wheel drive high, if that's the gear that we choose to select, right, you press and hold that button there, which is your traction control. On your dashboard, lights will come up to say that it's inactive. Now basically, if you press that once, it will turn it off, but once you go past a particular speed, and it's usually around about 40 kilometres an hour, it will automatically come back on.
Right.
Push and hold that button, it will turn it off, and then it will shut it off so it doesn't come back on.
Right, okay.
For a particular period of time.
Yep.
If we are to go into four-wheel drive low, that automatically turns off your traction control.
Yeah.
Right? And again, what's right or what's wrong in sand? People have their own ideas. Realistically, when you're in four-wheel drive low, that's when you're doing a slower speed, that you want power, and you want as much traction as you can get, so forth and so on. But you're really not wanting to drive above 40 kilometres an hour in low range.
Yeah, makes sense.
Now, when we're on the beach, if you want to drive more than 40 kilometres an hour, a majority of beaches in Western Australia, and I think Australia, you're breaking the law because they are speed limited. The beaches that we're at here have a speed limit of 30 kilometres an hour. When you're in four-wheel drive low, your vehicle does, in sand, your vehicle doesn't have to work as hard. It's my opinion, and it's just an opinion, that four-wheel drive low on beaches, particularly if they're a little bit soft, is the way to go.
Yep, makes sense.
Can you drive in four-wheel drive high? Absolutely you can. Will it do it well? Absolutely it will. But what it does is it makes your gearbox work harder, and in an automatic vehicle, that's something that you really don't want. You don't want your gearbox to overheat. And like I say, without deep diving into all the bits and pieces, just high level, my opinion, on the beach, four-wheel drive low,
yep,
job done, unless you do want to do high-speed cruising in it, okay?
Yep.
So that's how we select four-wheel drive high, four-wheel drive low.
Yep.
Stop, neutral, four-wheel drive low, engage gear, and away you go. Now, in your vehicle here, again, automatic, you can put it in drive, let the vehicle do its thing. Or you can control the gears, yep, as though you're driving a manual. Again, on the beach, if it's a little bit soft, old school, I prefer to drive the car when I control it. I mean, I drive a manual. So I would suggest we put it down into the Tiptronic, move the gear across,
yep,
so you can select if you're in first gear, second gear, third
yep,
gear,
yep,
as you're driving, change it as a manual, okay? Gentle on the accelerator. You don't need, it's not flat out or off, it's drive it as you normally would, and you will get a feel for when you need more acceleration, more revs as you're driving, and unless that's something that's really difficult to explain, it's something that comes with practice. All I would suggest is when you first go down there, until you get the feel for it, you actually drive gentle on the accelerator until you work it out.
Yep.
Also, particularly on the beach, your car will want to swerve and veer. Don't fight it. If it starts pulling you to the right and you want to steer to the left, just gently back into where you steer it to where you want to go. Don't fight it. Okay? And again, you will get a feel for it.
Yep.
If you feel like you're going to get stuck, give it a little bit more acceleration. Once you stop forward momentum, get off the accelerator, because once you stop going forward when you want to go forward, and you give it more acceleration, all you're doing is digging it deeper. So if we get to that point, we will show you how to self-recover.
Yep.
Right, because all of this is basically about, you get yourself into trouble, how do I get myself out of trouble if there's no one else there? Because that's what we're looking for here. So generically, high level, that's how you operate the controls. Yep. You've let your tyres down, we'll cover anything else as we go. What we will be doing here today is I will lead you down to the beach. We will drive onto the beach, we'll have a little bit of a chat, we'll go for a bit of a drive up the beach, and we'll show you a few things. Even if we're just driving up and back in the same spot, we'll show you the difference on high range four-wheel drive on the beach, low range four-wheel drive on the beach. Turning, driving downhill, driving uphill, we'll just step through it so you get an understanding and a feel for it. Once you've got an understanding and a feel for it, it's just simply practice. So
sounds good.
Without teaching you how to suck eggs, load your car up, I'm ready to rock and roll. We'll drive out of here, we'll talk to each other on the UHF, and we'll take it as we find it. Okay, one last thing that I did neglect to say up front. When we're driving on the beach, unless it's an emergency situation, try to come to a rolling stop rather than hitting the brakes.
Yep.
Right? I'll show you the difference between a rolling stop and hitting the brakes on the beach when we actually get down there in my vehicle. When you're driving along the beach, if you hit your brakes, you stop, your nose dips down and it pushes a mound of sand in front of your tyres. And that minor little difference can make the difference between getting stuck and not getting stuck when you go to drive out. Clearly, if it's an emergency situation, you hit your brakes, you deal with what result you get.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, if you're just coming to a normal stop, just ease off the accelerator, let it slow down. And if your tyre pressures are correct, you should come to a gentle stop when probably 1.5% of where you would stop normally if you hit your brakes on the tar.
Okay.
So, and again, that's a feel thing. And end of the day, if you hit your brakes and you push a little bit of a mound of sand in front, we'll show you how to get out and around that if and when it happens.
Sounds good.
No worries. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll get in the vehicles now, we'll mount up and away we go.
Okay.
So let me tell you all the things I really hate about you. You call me when you need me, then you drop me like yesterday's news. Take me on a date, but it's another lame pool party. And when you get me home, you be so drunk you just fall asleep. You got me so delirious, but I just can't seem to get enough. My friends say I should give you up, but nothing's simple when it comes to us. 'Cause you're born to drive me crazy and we both know I'm caught up trying to love you or let you go. You wanna drive me crazy and I can't see. But trying my best to love you is worth losing my sanity. You wanna drive me crazy. So won't you tell me all the things you really hate about me? About how I made excuses and I never liked your family. Those times I made you wait while I had another shot.
It's back to a little bit soft just down here.
Always ask you questions while you try to watch your favorite TV. You got me so delirious, and it's a feeling that I just can't shake. My friends say I should give you up, but maybe loving you's my best mistake. 'Cause you're born to drive me crazy, and we both know.
Hop out of the car and show you something, because there's a few rocks and stuff that will go over here, and I'm sure you'll find as a new person to off-roading when you're driving along, you feel your car surge forward, come back, surge forward, come back, because your foot is not solid on the accelerator. So I'm just going to show you a quick trick on how to avoid that. Okay, so I'm sure while you've been driving along, just getting a feel for it, particularly when you're going over some of the rocky bits, you feel the car sort of vroom, vroom,
Yeah.
vroom, because your foot's on the accelerator,
Yeah.
off the accelerator, because the car's bouncing up and down. Now, a trick particularly here is when you've got your foot, if you just move your foot across, when you've got your foot on your accelerator, it's very easy to bounce up and down. If you wedge your heel into there up against your firewall and drive on the outside of your accelerator, makes it very much easier to control your up and down on your foot.
Yeah.
So basically all you're doing is wedging your heel in, so you haven't got that weight of your foot bouncing up and down as you go.
Right.
It's going to take a while for you to get it right, but that's what we do. And we've got a section up here where it is rocky. You'll just be going nice and slow through it. If you jam that wheel in, it will give you an understanding of how much easier it is to control your throttle on that. So just a gentle little tip there. So we'll see how we go up through here.
Okay.
Okay, so realistically this is a very basic section of track, but if you get it wrong, you can come a cropper, as in get stuck.
Yeah.
As you can see, the track comes across here, winds around and continues on up. It's not going to pick it up on the camera, but it's a little bit off camber, which takes you down into an area that you probably don't want to be in.
No.
So the trick is here when you go along, don't worry about being off camber because it's not horrible, but what you want to try and avoid doing is going through there that slowly that you give the sand a chance to drift you down into it.
Okay.
So you don't want to go steaming through it, but you do actually want to carry just a little bit of momentum on these wheel tracks that go up and around.
Yep.
Some people will make the mistake, you can see where your wheel tracks go, which is about the right line. Some people will make the mistake, I'll see that and I want to drive up here. That's a big mistake, because the higher up you go,
The more angle.
the more lean, the more it wants to push you down this way.
Yeah.
So stay to the actual correct sort of path that we go through here. And like I say, when you go through, you don't have to go belting through here, but just through here at somewhere between walking pace, which is 8 kilometres an hour, and sort of 15 kilometres, and you'll just drive straight through and you won't even know it's there.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? But if you were to come through here and be, oh, gentle, I'm doing sort of 2 or 3 kilometres an hour, that's when the sand starts to give you an opportunity to start drifting.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
So yeah, just simple, but I thought it's easier to walk you through it here. Good.
Alright guys, we will leave Gary and Pete there for this week and rejoin them again in a fortnight's time down on the beach, where we'll run through some recoveries and some tips and tricks to some awkward beach driving. So don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Cheers.